Welcome to Market Monkeys. This week we're going to be talking about medical marijuana and marijuana stocks. Right, let's get into it, Scott.
So today we're going to be talking about the marijuana stocks that we just briefly touched on there.
Just a couple of them.
So we got weed, and we've been talking about Aurora Cannabis.
Yeah, weed is.
So they're the main.
Weed is the Canopy growth company.
Okay, so we have the two big companies there. That's in Canada right now. Now these companies, they've been driving up through the past year, going crazy, knowing that next year is going to be. In July, we're going to be seeing the legalization of marijuana in Canada. Now, this has all been high speculation, hasn't it? And we are kind of bearish on these companies right now. We think that everybody is speculating to such a point. I'm not saying that there's no money to be had in these things, but at the end of the day, they haven't sold anything yet. Have they got contracts being put together? I think some of them may have. But the problem is we don't know how much they're going to make. This is all these multi-billion-dollar companies. What if they're not run properly? What if the profit margin is not in there that everybody thinks there is? There's so many costs that are not known about yet. Everybody's thinking that it's going to be one way. It may not be that way yet. So I'm a little bearish on this right now because I think it's been run up to such a point that it's overdone, wouldn't you say?
And when Scott says bearish, for anybody that's new to investing, that means we're holding it down. It's not something we think is going up. It's the stock price may go up, but we think that it may be slightly overblown because it hasn't had any time. We know that medical marijuana is out there and going to people on, use it for medication. But at the moment, the provinces are not quite in sync with what's going on. They don't know what. A lot of them are not quite sure how it's going to work. Some are trying to just put it into liquor marts. You think, well, how's that going to work? And then you've still got the black market, and you've still got people thinking they're going to grow their own. You really don't know where these companies are going. But you've got to bear in mind is, like weed, which is Canopy growth company, but it's listed on the stock exchange as weed, WEED. It's gone since last October. It's now December. Since in 2016, it was $5.58. At the moment, it's been as high as $21.72. And you think, well, it's all on speculation.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's expecting it to produce these massive numbers in earnings, which they possibly can, but you don't know that yet. So how is that something you can base it on?
And usually,
and there's no sales. There's no sales because they can't sell it yet, and all these costs that are coming into play that nobody knows about yet. Who knows? There might be huge regulations that they haven't put in place yet. There's so many unknowns, right? And what I want to say before you jump in, a year afterwards, when this has all been legalized and things are settled down, what everything's going on. These companies might only be worth, say, $1 billion. There might be another company comes through that's hugely more successful in their profit margins and keeping costs down and things like that. That hasn't come about yet. So I'm not saying that it's not a great idea. It could be, but there's so many unknowns yet. It's a gamble. You don't want to be gambling, and that's what the thing is. At the end of the day, don't gamble your money away. Like right now, you're paying $3 billion for a company that you're hoping is going to do well when it comes out and it's all legalized.
And for me personally, the bottom line is this is going to be run by the government. And what do governments do? They just lose money. They're not business people. They're the people that handle all the contracts for everything in the whole country, but really they're not business people. They just lose money. And if they can find a way to lose money by employing 5,000 people to do 100 people's jobs, they will. And I just feel it's going to go that way because they got their hand on it. They trying to claw some money in, but they're not very good at it. They're not business people. They're trying to run a big business. It's not for them. I don't think I personally, at this moment in time, if there's going to be gains in the future when I can start seeing PE ratios and I can start seeing financials, then I'd rather take the smaller gain than the blow up of everybody, every man and his dog thinking that this is going to make a fortune for everybody. because.
And another thing I want to
think
say
so.
as well is, you look at it as if it's like, say, the beer companies. Now you have beer companies and alcohol companies that have certain brands that are certain types of alcohol that people like. Now with weed, I don't know if there's any sort of copyrights on certain types of weed that's grown, but anybody can grow anything. So why is one company better than another?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like having a farmer. Is one guy can grow the same as the other. So what makes that one unique over this one? So why is one going up more than the other? Maybe based on contracts. But see, there's so many unknowns.
Hype.
And hype, and everybody's thinking, wow, there's money to be had, and everyone's buying into it. I'm not saying there's not going to be money in it. There absolutely is, but it may not come through into the earnings of the shares. That's the problem.
Let me just tell you this one thing that runs alongside this. A lot of provinces in Canada, I'm talking now, have their own liquor marts run by the local government, right? Where I am, if I want to buy a bottle of wine and I pay $7, I can go an hour across the border and buy the same bottle for $2. That's how well they run it here with their little empires.
That's taxes.
So that's right, that's their taxes and how many people they got in their own stores, whereas you can buy the same bottle across the border for $2 into America. So I'm very worried about the government having the handle on it, because they are not business people. They are empire builders.
Well, there's so many different things that have, like I said, there's so many unknowns yet.
And the black market will always undersell them.
Yeah,
They won't ruin the black market.
And what if people start growing their own that really want this stuff? If they can legally grow their own, why would they bother going out and buying it? So
there's lots of.
we'll see what happens. At the moment, it's not for me.
Not for me. Not at the moment.
But in the future, when things are legalized, we'll see where it's going. You know.
Yeah, and we'll see some financials.
And if their profit margins are good and healthy, and somehow it makes sense, then more than likely I'd look into it.
We'll look into it and come back to you and tell you then that we think it's a good thing, but it's not for us at this moment. It's just it's just so much hype and speculation, and you're essentially buying into a government-run thing, and we know how governments run things, not profitably.
Okay. So we'll leave you with that. Subscribe and like us. Thanks very much.
See you next time. Bye.